And again, I'm going to be giving you lots of statistics done from different publications, mainly homosexual publications. These are their own statistics. This is why I call it a mythology. They're putting forward to the public that there's these people, you'll see people with banners with this partner for 30-something years, or with this partner for 18 years, or 8 years, or whatever it is. But they are the minority, and the thing is, they're not exclusive. It's not just exclusively one person. I want to show this in a second. A study, this was done of 10,292 men between the years of 1988 and 1992, compares 7,407 advocates, which are The Advocate magazine, which is a prominent male, white, upper class, mainstream homosexual publication, as mainstream as it gets, and 2,885 Washingtonians. This is based upon data collected from the periodical The Washingtonian, which is upscale Washington, D.C., basically. So they're comparing like with like from both communities. 7,400 advocates. So there's a higher number of homosexuals, but we'll be showing the percentages now in a second, comparing the two populations. The study states, with this understanding of bachelorhood, the Reisman and Johnson research on partner solicitation language as a reflection of male sexual orientation compared the self-expressed views of unmarried heterosexual versus homosexual bachelors on marriage, fidelity, monogamy, sexual violence, and several other key variables. Of the 2,885 Washingtonians is the heterosexual group, 86% were looking for time-bound relationships. Most heterosexuals, even today, who are God-hating and don't know Christ, seek marriage. Still. 86% seek time commitment. How many of the advocates of the 7,400, and this is a bigger subgroup, and this is from the homosexual magazine itself, were looking for time commitment? 2%. 2! 86% versus 2%. Comparing prostitution, explicit, implicit, 5% of the Washingtonians, 63%, the majority of the advocates seeking prostitution. Sexual sadism. I don't even want to go, it basically, vile perversion. 0.41% of Washingtonians, the heterosexual population. 25% of the advocates sought after sexual sadism. And then man-teen sex, 0.45% of the heterosexual, 15%, a significant number, seeking man-teen sex. The next thing I want to quote is from in August 1994, and if you say, oh, well, it's biased. Well, the August 1994 Advocate Self-Report Survey of Sexuality, this is their own study. This is an upscale, mainstream publication. There are worse things in the Advocate in the homosexual community. In this 1994 study, this is the Advocate study. This is not the previous study now. This is all males, 100% males, 2,500. 92% of these males had between 30 and 100 partners. 48% in more than 2 partners at one time. I don't want to go into more detail than that. And group sex orgies and things like that, 24%. There's a huge difference. Again, this is the mainstream publication of the homosexual community. The Advocate study supported the inability of males to maintain marital commitment found in the R&J, this is the Reisman and Johnson, in search of findings, a promiscuous culture seeking sexual variation, sadism, and youth at times. Statistic from the same report from The Advocate. This is a homosexual magazine. I keep saying this over and over again. From the 2,500 respondents to this report, roughly 8% said that they were with the same man. 8%! 8! So, and not necessarily exclusively, for over 10 years. And 24% not necessarily exclusively for over a year. So, 24%, a quarter, are involved with a person for more than a year, and not necessarily exclusively. Monogamy doesn't exist in the homosexual community. Also says 28% and 52% who report an effort to be monogamous in an earlier and current period by definition admit their inability to maintain a faithful relationship. It is a tiny, it's a small group. 8%. People say, oh, well, heterosexual marriage is in trouble as well, and probably give that is getting worse and worse, and it is. But here's the thing. What I'm dealing with here is not the moral decadence of heterosexuality, and there's moral decadence within marriage, in Christian churches, in the state, etc. This is, of course, true. But my point here is what the media and the LGBT community are putting forward is mythology. They do not believe in monogamy. They do not practice it. It is not prevalent within their communities. They are not interested in, quote unquote, what they would call pieces of paper to legitimize their relationship. So why are they interested in it? Also states here that The Advocate, this is the homosexual magazine, does not equate monogamy with fidelity. It does not. Because if it did, none of them would be faithful.
I've been a gay man for 30 years.
Just coming together in that kind of union.
Good point, but let's get back to the reality of the gay community. The vast majority of gay men have never been in a relationship for at least a year in their life. People who have been in long-term gay relationships are the minority within the gay community. In California, we have the domestic partnership rule. New York City, you can go register marriage. You can't have it both ways. You can't have gay politicians saying, we represent 1 million or 2 million people in New York City. Go down to City Hall. How many gay people have registered for domestic relationships? How many have registered for civil unions? When gay people learn to live with each other in harmony and understand what the real value of a marriage is, then maybe talk about marriage. But just because you want to have a ceremony, gay people have been having parties for thousands of years. You don't need gay peace on straight piece of marriage.
So you're saying it's not important enough to the gay community because they're promiscuous? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying the word promiscuous. I'm saying there's some very logical reasons why same-sex relationships are more difficult than opposite sex. When you've got two samples of testosterone versus testosterone and estrogen, that's a problem. When you got two sets of estrogen. Two men living together, two women together is not the same as a man and a woman. I don't have to mimic a straight relationship to have a great gay relationship. Why do I want to steal that from the straight community?
Another report by Bell, Weinberg, and Hammerstein, Sexual Preferences, Bloomington, Indiana Press, 1981. A.P. Bell and M.S. Weinberg, in their classic study of male and female homosexuality, found that 43% of white male homosexuals had sex with more than 500 or more partners. 43%. Again, confirming other reports that say they have hundreds and hundreds of partners. Many of them. More than 500. And the minority of them, only about 8%, actually claim to be with somebody for 10 years. It doesn't happen. Monogamy doesn't happen in the homosexual community. With 28% says also having 1,000 or more. 1,000 or more. Sexual. 28%. 20. Do you know that's like just a little over a quarter? 1 in every 4 study. This is okay? Oh, it's okay. Why? Because, we're celebrating love. You're celebrating lust. Another study, this just shows it's a death style, not a lifestyle, which leads to the life expectancy of a homosexual is about 20 years or more less than their heterosexual counterpart. It's a death style. Almost half of male homosexuals have a history of alcohol abuse compared to a quarter of males generally. Homosexuals of both sexes are thrice as likely to be problem drinkers. This is from a World Net Daily article. More than half of male homosexuals have a history of drug abuse compared to just 1 in 14 males generally. Half. Life expectancy for gay and bisexual men is 8 to 20 years less than for all men. The same pattern of mortality were to continue, it is estimated nearly half of gay, bisexual men, now aged 20, will reach their 65th birthday.